Alright guys, welcome back to the channel, and in today's video I'm going to break down how to make lead magnets that will actually convert people from consuming a lead magnet into a customer of yours. A lot of people have no idea what they're doing making a lead magnet. They just think that they can throw together some super ugly PDF with generic ChatGPT answers and then just try to give them to their prospects and then expect them to convert. That's not at all how it works, and in today's video I'm going to break down the exact framework that we use across all of our clients to create lead magnets that'll actually get people excited and will turn them into customers later down the line. And it's actually not even that hard. You just have to have a little bit of thought behind it. And if you just follow this framework, I guarantee you your conversions will just go through the roof. Okay, so I'm going to break that down. But before we start, of course, we have to fully understand what a lead magnet is, which is to define it so we're all on the same page, right? So essentially, a lead magnet is when a lead of yours wants to get something of value from you that is usually free. Actually, by definition, a lead magnet is free. So most of the time, this will be them requesting a guide or some sort of freebie from you in exchange for you collecting a way to contact them. Usually, this was going to be email. I would say that the only contact information you should be getting from somebody initially is their email address, because it is the least invasive and phone number is often too much to ask for. However, it does depend on which industry you're in, of course, and how you plan to go about things. Great, so now that we've established this relationship, it's basically a transaction where the currency in which your leads are paying for the value that you're providing them, instead of it being money, it is a way to contact them even further, which as a business owner, having your own direct channel of communication towards your prospective clients is probably one of the most valuable things that you can get. And every established business owner that has been doing digital marketing for a certain amount of time will know how much 1,000 leads is worth in a dollar amount, because they have the numbers of how much people will usually convert, how much they'll spend, etc. So if they get 1,000 fresh leads, they know that that's worth an extra $30,000 a month for them, if, for example, that's how it pans out for them, right? So this is extremely powerful, and if you do it right, it'll set you apart from all the other wannabes who are completely just butchering their lead magnets on a regular basis, okay? So before I dive into the framework, I'll explain what exactly makes a good lead magnet, right? And it comprises of these 5 things. Essentially, the first thing is your prospect has to feel like it is completely worth giving you their email address, right? Because oftentimes people don't want to just give out their contact information for free, because in the back of their head, they know that you're probably going to send them marketing emails later down the line. And if they don't think that what you're going to give them for free is worth them sending you their email address, then your lead magnet isn't good enough and you didn't sell it well enough in your content, or however you plan to get people to subscribe or however you plan to get people to request a lead magnet. The second thing is that it has to be as specific as possible to the problem that they are facing, right? Like, you don't want to make a lead magnet that is so generalized that it doesn't even really help anybody because it's like super generic tips, right? It has to be a very specific lead magnet helping somebody solve a very specific problem. You'll understand this a little bit further when I break down the framework in just a second. The third thing is, it's kind of obvious, but you'll be surprised how many people will be like telling you they're going to send a lead magnet and it's not even related to what you're requesting, right? If somebody requests a free guide on how to make how to meal prep, and you send them a shoulder day routine, this is example for someone in the fitness niche, obviously they're probably not going to subscribe to it in the end because it's completely unrelated, right? So it has to be directly related to what they're requesting. The fourth thing is that this must solve their problem entirely. You have to, with your lead magnet, try your absolute best to solve the problem that the person is facing with the lead magnet that they're getting. And a lot of people will think that, oh yeah, but if I solve all their problems, then they're not going to pay me because I've solved the problem. Ironically, that is not how it goes, and it actually works the other way, where if you really do your best and you come through with the lead magnet, you're much more likely to convert them as a customer later down the line. And the fifth thing, which is not entirely related to lead magnets, but it's having a really good follow-up sequence. This is something I can talk about in a future video if you guys would like to see that. But essentially, once you deliver the lead magnet, if you have email sequences that are set up in a way that'll get people excited about your paid product, you're much more likely to sell them, because you're able to nurture them and kind of piggyback off of all the value that you provided in the lead magnet in the first place. This video has nothing to do with nurturing your leads after the lead magnet has been delivered and follow-up sequences that will actually convert them at a later stage. But if you'd like me to make a video about that in the future, let me know in the comments below. But I'll share 2 easy screenshots from the book .com Secrets by Russell Brunson, which are a great way to go about creating your follow-up sequences for your prospective clients. The first thing is a soap opera sequence, which is essentially the thing that goes hand in hand with a lead magnet, which starts with a day one email, which pretty much sets the stage of what the lead magnet is for, how it's going to help them, this kind of stuff. Then day two, you want to have a backstory about how this lead magnet came about. And the third thing is how the lead magnet is basically the epiphany that you had started to, bring the benefits that you were kind of bragging about that got somebody to subscribe in the first place. Then in the fourth day, you have all the hidden benefits of this lead magnet, and in the fifth day, you have the urgency and the call to action, which is where you convert them to the sale. After which, you plug them into the next sequence, which is your daily Seinfeld emails. These can be like weekly if you don't have the time to write all these emails. But now, essentially, after you've collected all these emails for these lead magnets, there's going to be a portion of people that don't convert yet because they are not fully convinced, but these emails at a later stage can convert them. And these weekly or daily emails, however you want to go about it, are pretty much just general emails kind of like talking about all these different things here and will allow you to potentially convert them later down the line if you do it right. But like I said, this is not the point of this video, so I'm not going to get into too much detail about it, but here's just a little extra sauce for you in case you want to go ahead and get started. All right, and I've already mentioned this quote before, and I say this quote to pretty much everyone I talk about whenever we're talking about marketing online, but this quote from Alex Hormozi is literally gold because it is the best way to go about marketing. And if you adopt this mindset, you're going to see a ton of growth, right? So the quote goes, "A buying decision is based on a prediction of future value, and the best way to make someone confident that they'll get value after they buy is to provide value before they buy." So essentially what he's saying here in the context of lead magnets is that what you gave them for free was worth so much that if they give you more money, you're going to give them disproportionately more value when they actually buy your paid product or service. In order to make a really good lead magnet, you have to identify your ICP's ultimate desired result, right? Like this is a big goal or a big thing that they're trying to achieve, which can be broken down into sub-problems and little obstacles like I've done here. This number is very likely to be greater than 5, but for the purpose of the video, I've only put 5 down, right? So once you've listed out all of these mini sub-problems that this person has, you just pick one and you create a lead magnet to solve this, okay? When you create this lead magnet, you have to solve this problem to the best of your ability. Really try to just give them everything you can to help them solve this problem, and you want them to start thinking, this person has really helped me solve this problem, but I still have X, Y, Z problems that are happening that's preventing me from getting to my desired state. What's the next step? Okay, once you get somebody thinking, okay, great, I've solved this problem, but I still have these other ones. This guy helped me do this for free. I bet if I paid him, he's going to definitely solve all my other problems and get me to the dream desired state, right? So that's the mindset that you want to be thinking in when you're making these lead magnets. I'm going to highlight 2 actual tangible examples for 2 different niches so that you can get an idea of how this can be done practically, all right? So let's say in the fitness niche, your ideal customer wants to get to 10% body fat, right? Okay, so they're struggling, they're 25, 30, really obese, and they want to get all the way down, 6-pack shredded for the summer, and that is the ultimate goal that they're trying to achieve. And they're going to have lots of little sub problems because if they're obese, they definitely have more than one problem. It's probably not only the diet or the sleep or the consistency or the poor training or the alcohol that they're drinking, right? So you list out all the problems and all the things that are preventing them from getting there, and then you create the lead magnet accordingly, right? So I've put here just to show that within one bigger problem, you can have smaller sub-problems, and this is also a really good thing to do because if you have the resources to create super targeted lead magnets, like for example, meal prep under the diet plan, which is like very specific, or how to eat healthy when you're at restaurants, which is also very specific, you're going to be able to ultimately have a higher chance of solving the problem that the person is struggling with, okay? So let's say that in this example, you chose poor training, right? Once you solve that problem, the person will be thinking, okay, great, what's the next step? What about all the other problems? They think back to you because you came through on that lead magnet, and then boom, you make the sale, okay? That's as simple as it is, right? Like even with no proper follow-up sequences set up in place, you can still probably make a bunch of sales if your lead magnets actually come through to the extent that they can if you do it in the way that I've just been showing you. And if you're in the agency niche helping people make money online, let's say your ideal customer's result is to get to 50K per month with their agency, right? Your ideal customer could be facing a ton of different problems, including not having enough focus to be able to, create and run the agency. They have 0 leads coming to their business, so you have to help them with marketing. They have problems with delivery because they can't fulfill the services once they sign the client. They can't build a team, so they have problems scaling because they don't have anybody to help support them service more clients and eventually make more sales. Or they just have problems with conversions, right? They're getting lots of people on calls, but nobody is actually buying their product at the end of the day, right? So if you make, again, a lead magnet very targeted to solving one particular problem that this person is having, they will have the natural thought process that I just showed you in the fitness example, which is, okay, great, this person solved this problem. What about all my other problems? Boom, they think back to you, and then you can make the sale, all right? That's how it goes. And now if you're thinking, oh yeah, well, I've just solved this problem, and then now this person's just gonna run with it because now they don't have any other issues and they won't buy anything from me because I've solved this problem and they're good to go. That is not entirely true, because it is inevitable that people run into more obstacles later down the line. So even if it doesn't happen immediately, you've built up all this goodwill and trust so early on that you will stay in their mind as the guy or the girl who has helped them solve this specific problem, and they will eventually come back for your paid product or service. And this will work 10 times better if you have proper follow-up sequences and email sequences set up the way that I showed you earlier. And like I said, if you guys want me to make a video about that, let me know in the comments below and I will make a video about follow-up sequences that will help convert and nurture leads. Okay, great. So now that I've showed you what makes a really good lead magnet and how you can make a really good lead magnet, the next thing is I've listed out some action steps so you can get started immediately and start creating killer lead magnets today. All right, so the first step is identify your ICP's desired result. I hate to say it, but if you don't know what this is already, then you should probably pause everything you're doing, go back, understand what this is truly, and then you can worry about everything else. Okay, so identify your ICP's desired result. Then list out all of the obstacles and problems that are preventing them to get to their desired result. Sorry, I forgot to write that at the end there, but you get the point, right? You have to list out every single sub-problem, even if it's like something super small. It doesn't matter. Right now you're brainstorming, just get all the problems out on paper, and then from there you can kind of think, okay, what is the problem that most of my followers or most of my ICP is facing, right? Because not every problem is going to have the same amount of weight as others, and more people are going to be facing one kind of problem than the others, right? So you want to choose the one that is the highest leverage, meaning the one that most people are struggling with. Step 3, choose 1 or 2 problems. Okay, don't overcomplicate it. Just like I said, choose the ones that you think most people are struggling with, and then create the lead magnet fixing this exact problem in full. Okay, this is the most important part. Actually fix the problem in full as if they were your client. And if you do this, believe me, you will make a lot more money. Okay, so in this video, I didn't exactly highlight the tangible features of what your lead magnet should consist of, whether it should be a PDF or a video course or like an email sequence, like an email course, for example. But that's not the point. That's for you to decide based off what you think your ICP would want to consume it in. So if it, for example, it's like a meal prep course for somebody in the fitness niche, obviously video and PDF is going to be better than an email course, because emails for learning how to cook and meal prep doesn't make much sense. But videos of you actually cooking the food and storing it in your fridge and explaining like this is how much a week's worth of food looks like at a calorie deficit of 2,200 calories would hit home much better than it would in probably any other format. Okay, so you have to decide that for yourself. And then yeah, that's pretty much it. Just start doing this and I can guarantee you that you're going to see a huge difference in the results that you're getting. All right guys, I hope you found the video useful, and if you did, please consider liking and subscribing. Check out this video if you're interested, and I will see you guys in the next one.